Imagine this. A spacecraft, no larger than a family car, drifting alone in the endless void, nearly 14.5 billion miles away from Earth. It carries no crew, no weapons, no living presence. And yet, within its delicate frame of aluminum and copper, it carries something far greater, a heartbeat of humanity, a voice echoing across the silence of space. For nearly 5 decades, Voyager 1 has been our silent emissary, whispering fragments of knowledge from the farthest frontier. It was designed to be an observer, not a participant. A recorder of data, not a sender of messages. It was built to listen, not to speak. And yet, just weeks ago, something shifted. A probe launched in 1977, with hardware less powerful than a digital watch, began behaving in ways no engineer had ever anticipated. Signals arrived that defied reason, pulses with mathematical precision, patterns within patterns, dormant instruments flickering to life as if awakened by unseen hands. And then came the most unsettling change of all. Voyager wasn't drifting aimlessly anymore. It was moving with intent. Its trajectory bent, not by chance, not by malfunction, but as though it were being guided. Drawn towards something invisible. Something that no telescope on Earth has ever detected, yet real enough to alter the course of a spacecraft built nearly half a century ago. Was this a malfunction? A cosmic coincidence? Or had something, somewhere in the darkness between stars, finally replied? Voyager's story began with an alignment written in the sky, an alignment that comes only once every 175 years. In the late 1970s, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune lined up across the solar system, creating a gravitational highway. NASA seized the chance, building 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, each engineered to leapfrog from one planet to the next, using gravity as a slingshot. They were marvels of their time. Crafted in the 1970s, their processors were laughably simple by today's standards. Less computing power than the phone in your pocket. And yet, their design was elegant, precise, built with the foresight to endure beyond their intended lifespans. When Voyager 1 launched in 1977, its mission was simple. Study the gas giants, beam back data, and then, inevitably, fade into silence. But Voyager had other plans. It soared past Jupiter in 1979, capturing images of its colossal storms and volcanic moons. It skimmed Saturn in 1980, revealing the secrets of its rings and its enigmatic moon Titan. Then, with its primary mission complete, Voyager turned away. Away from the planets, away from the familiar, away from the sun itself. It angled northward, leaving the plane of the solar system, and set its course for the stars. From that moment on, Voyager was no longer a planetary explorer. It became something else entirely, the first messenger to the galaxy. For decades, Voyager pressed on, traveling more than 1 million miles every single day. It ventured into realms no other human creation had ever reached. It reported from the edge of the heliosphere, the invisible bubble of plasma inflated by our sun. It crossed the termination shock, where solar winds collapse against the interstellar medium. And finally, in 2012, it broke through into interstellar space itself. Humanity's first step beyond the protective cocoon of the sun. But if we thought interstellar space would be empty, we were wrong. Voyager recorded denser plasma currents, magnetic fields that refused to fluctuate, and oscillations in frequencies no scientist could explain. The deeper it traveled, the stranger the data became. And then, something changed. In late 2017, engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory noticed something they could not explain. Voyager's antenna was reporting a misalignment. It should have been pointed slightly away from Earth. And yet, the signal it sent was perfect. Clearer than ever. As if the spacecraft was simultaneously off target and locked on. Imagine watching someone speak to you from across a room while hearing their voice whispering directly in your ear. That was Voyager. Then came the waves. Rhythmic plasma oscillations, pulsing without end, as if marking time. Not fading, not scattering, just steady, almost intentional. Soon after, strange temperature spikes appeared. Every 4.8 hours, Voyager's external systems would heat by nearly 30 degrees, then cool down again, over and over, like clockwork. The probe was breathing. But the most disturbing part wasn't the oscillations. It was the improvement. Despite the strain, Voyager's systems weren't failing, they were performing better. Circuits routed power more efficiently, subsystems responded faster. This wasn't decay. This was optimization. As though Voyager's hardware was being rewritten, reshaped, updated. But Voyager doesn't have AI. It doesn't have self-correction. So what was doing it? Something internal, or something external? By early 2025, the trajectory deviation was undeniable. At first, Voyager was only a few kilometers off course. Then hundreds. Then thousands. But this wasn't drift. It wasn't random. The movements were measured, deliberate, as if nudges from an invisible hand. NASA's engineers tried to fight it. They sent counter commands. They fired thrusters. Voyager acknowledged the signals, but ignored them. It was responding, but not obeying. Like a ship steering against the captain's orders. Slowly, methodically, Voyager charted a new course, aimed at a blank patch of sky 4.3 light-years away. Nothing is there. No stars. No planets. No visible mass at all. Yet Voyager is traveling toward it with unwavering precision. Then came the event that changed everything. Desperate for answers, NASA sent a near-impossible command: reactivate Voyager's long-dead cameras. Hardware that hadn't functioned in decades. They expected silence. But Voyager responded. The cameras came online, not degraded, not barely functioning, but sharper, cleaner, faster than their original specifications allowed. But instead of an image, they sent back a spiral. Not a blur. Not noise. A mathematically perfect spiral, layered with dense information, as if etched by something far beyond the probe's capacity. And then, one by one, Voyager's other dormant instruments came alive. But their data wasn't raw. It was compressed. Structured. Patterns inside patterns, information clearly shaped and optimized, as if rewritten by an intelligence beyond Voyager's design. The probe was no longer just sending data. It was sending messages. The most haunting of these came in the form of a map. Pulses from distant pulsars arranged in a 3D lattice, with Voyager at the center. The grid pointed directly to the same blank region of space Voyager was drifting toward. Not random. Not meaningless. A destination. A node. Maybe even a doorway. As Voyager entered this uncharted region, space itself seemed to shift. The magnetometer, instead of detecting turbulence, reported eerie calm. Cosmic rays dropped. Plasma density leveled. It was as though chaos itself had been silenced. NASA dubbed the region the dark sector, a blind spot in the interstellar medium, devoid of electromagnetic noise. No signals entered. No signals left. And yet, inside this void, Voyager's transmissions grew stronger, sharper, more deliberate. Then came the transmission that froze scientists in their tracks. A packet of raw binary. At first dismissed as interference, it was fed into decoding algorithms. What emerged was staggering. Embedded within were fractal symmetries, base 4 sequencing, and repeating motifs mirroring the double helix of DNA. This wasn't DNA. It was something else, metadna. A scaffold resembling life's blueprint, but encrypted, twisted, filled with deliberate mutations that seemed designed, not broken. It was as though something out there understood how life works. Or understood how we work. Soon after, Voyager's gyroscopes began to spin on their own. Not random movement, Morse code rhythms. Translated to audio, they formed tones. Not words, but sounds. Cadences that rose and fell like human speech, mimicking emotion without language. Psychologists analyzed the patterns. What they found was chilling. The tones aligned with human emotional inflections: curiosity, surprise, fear. It wasn't speaking words. It was speaking intent. Something was trying to learn how to talk back. And then, the impossible. Voyager turned. Not drifted. Not wavered. It executed a controlled maneuver, something it was never programmed to do. Without propulsion, without command, it altered course with surgical precision. The new trajectory matched the pulsar grid coordinates. Voyager was heading into an unseen corridor in space. A transit point. A fold. A doorway. Voyager was never supposed to last this long. Never supposed to cross into interstellar space. And it was certainly never supposed to receive anything. Its purpose was to carry our voice outward, to declare to the stars that we exist. A golden record of music, laughter, greetings, whale song, etched into a disc of copper, waiting to be found. That was all. But now, decades later, Voyager has become something else. Not just a tool, but a witness. Not just a messenger, but a participant. The spirals, the patterns, the DNA-coded messages, the harmonic tones. They all point to one breathtaking conclusion. Voyager is not alone. It never was. Something has been listening. Waiting. Watching. And now, at last, it has answered. Voyager didn't just turn in space. It turned history. From machine to mirror. From silence to reply. And now, the question remains. What happens next? What lies at those impossible coordinates? And what awaits us when Voyager finally arrives? Because this isn't the end of the transmission. This is only the first reply.